There is a factory in Chicago. The year is 1924, and the managers have a question. A simple one. If we make the lights brighter, will the workers work harder? So they run a test. They brighten the lights, and the workers become more productive. Good. The hypothesis works. But then something strange happens. They dim the lights back down, and the workers become more productive again. They change the shift schedules. Productivity goes up. They change them back. Productivity goes up. They rearrange the floor. Up. They do almost nothing. Up. And the researchers start to realize something that has nothing to do with lighting. It was never about the lights. It was never about the shifts. It was about the workers knowing they were being watched. The moment someone pays attention to you, you change. Not because you decide to. Not because you try harder, but because something deep inside you responds to being seen. They called it the Hawthorne Effect. And then they mostly moved on. Filed it under psychology, mentioned it in textbooks, and forgot to ask the more uncomfortable question. If people perform better simply because someone is watching, what does that say about how we live when no one is? Think about the last time someone complimented your work, the energy that followed, the focus, the strange desire to deserve it. Now think about the last time you worked completely alone. No audience, no feedback, no one to impress. How long before the effort quietly softened? How long before good enough became enough? Most people will never admit this because we want to believe our standards are internal, that we show up for ourselves. That discipline is something we carry, not something we borrow from other people's attention. But the factory doesn't lie. The lights didn't matter. What mattered was that someone cared enough to look. And this goes deeper than work. Think about who you are in public versus who you are alone. Not in a dishonest way, not performance in the cheap sense. But think about how you speak more carefully when someone is listening, how you eat differently when someone is watching, how you sit up straighter, think more clearly, try more honestly. The moment you feel seen, there is a version of you that exists only under observation, and a quieter, softer, more careless version that lives in the spaces between. The question is, which one is real? Some people would say the public version is the fake one, that who you are when no one is watching is the truth. And maybe that's right, but maybe it's more complicated than that, because humans are not solitary creatures pretending to be social. We are social creatures who sometimes find ourselves alone. We evolved in groups. We were seen before we could speak. Someone watched over us before we could walk. The gaze of another person is not a distraction from who we are. It may be part of how we become who we are. There is a concept in psychology called the looking glass self. The idea is simple. You learn who you are by watching how others respond to you. A child reaches for something dangerous. A parent's face tightens. The child learns, that is not for me. A child says something funny. The room laughs. The child thinks, maybe I am someone who can do that. We build our identity the way early humans built fire, from sparks caught off other people. We do not discover ourselves in isolation. We discover ourselves in reflection. So what happens when the reflection disappears? What happens when the audience leaves? When the likes stop coming? When the praise dries up? When no one is checking in, following up, paying attention? A lot of people fall apart quietly, not dramatically, not in ways they'd admit. They just soften. The project slows. The standard drops. The thing they were going to do tomorrow keeps being tomorrow, and they tell themselves it's a rough week, a bad month, a season. But really, they lost their lights. Not the electricity kind, the human kind. The kind that comes from someone seeing you and what you're doing, mattering to someone other than yourself. This is not a weakness. Stop deciding it's a flaw. Needing an audience is not vanity. Needing to be seen is not fragility. It is ancient. It is wired. It is the same impulse that made your ancestor carve their name into a cave wall. Look, I was here. I did this. Someone somewhere notice. The need to be witnessed is not something modern and shallow. It is something human and old. But here is the problem. Because the world figured this out, and it sold it back to you. Every platform, every feed, every notification is a scientist with a clipboard standing at the edge of your cage, watching, measuring, offering just enough attention to keep you performing. You don't post because you want to. You post because the silence after not posting feels like invisibility, and invisibility feels like not existing. So you perform, not for joy, not for truth, but because the lights are on. And the lights being on makes you feel real. The researchers at the Hawthorne factory thought they were studying productivity. They were actually studying something much older, the relationship between a person and the feeling of mattering. And what they found, buried under charts and variables and academic language, was this. People do not need perfect conditions. They do not need the brightest lights or the best equipment or the ideal environment. They need to feel like someone gives a damn. That is the whole finding. That is the uncomfortable center of 100 years of research. You can dim the lights. You can rearrange everything. You can change every variable. And people will still rise, as long as they believe that rising means something to someone. So the real question is not whether you are being watched. The real question is who you are performing for, because some people spend their entire lives optimizing for an audience that doesn't love them, working harder for people who will never be satisfied, shrinking themselves to fit a frame held by someone who never deserved to hold it. And the tragedy is not that they needed to be seen. The tragedy is that they let the wrong eyes define them. The factory workers didn't know they were part of an experiment. They just knew someone was paying attention, and that was enough to change everything. Imagine what becomes possible when the attention is real, when the witness is someone who actually sees you, when the experiment ends and the care remains. Imagine who you become when the right person is watching, not to measure you, not to study you, but simply because they think what you're doing matters. And so do you.